Hey cat lovers, and welcome back to the Purring Journal, the channel where we explore all things feline, from cat facts to fascinating mysteries. And today we're diving into one of the spookiest, most intriguing questions out there. Can cats actually see ghosts? If you ever watched your cat suddenly freeze, stare at a blank wall, or follow something invisible with their eyes, you probably wondered, what on earth are they looking at? Are they seeing something we can't? Could it be supernatural? In this video, we'll explore both sides of the story, what science has to say about cats' mysterious senses, and what centuries of faith and folklore suggest about our feline friends being guardians between the living and the spirit world. By the end, you'll be able to decide for yourself whether your cat is just being a cat, or if there's something more. If you enjoy learning about cat behavior, facts, tips, and more, subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. Now grab a cozy blanket, maybe even your cat, and let's get started. Strange behaviors that spark the question. Every cat guardian has witnessed it. Your cat suddenly perks up, ear twitching, eyes wide as if they're seeing something move across the room. Sometimes they even chase what looks like thin air or sit and stare at a corner for minutes on end. These behaviors are so common that entire forums, videos, and late night stories have been devoted to them. But here's the thing, cats don't just seem to notice things that we don't. They actually can. Their senses are far sharper than ours in ways that make them appear tuned into another dimension. Before we get into the spooky stories, let's break down the science of cat senses and why they might look like they're seeing ghosts. A cat's vision, seeing beyond ours. Humans see the world one way, but cats, they're built for a very different visual experience. Cats have a much wider field of vision than we do, about 200 degrees compared to our 180, which means they can pick up on movement at the edge of their sight that we completely miss. Even more fascinating, cats are particularly sensitive in low light. Their eyes have a structure called a tapetum lucidum, which reflects light back through their retina, making it easier for them to see in the dark. That's why their eyes glow at night. But here's where things get interesting. Cats can also detect subtle movements, like the flick of a tiny insect's wings or even small particles floating in the air. To us, it looks like they're staring at nothing. To them, it might be a dust mote, a shadow, or something just outside our range of vision. And some studies suggest that cats can even see an ultraviolet light, something completely invisible to humans. A 2014 study published in the Proceedings of the Royal Society B found that many mammals, including cats, have eyes capable of detecting UV patterns. That means when your cat is transfixed on a blank surface, they may actually be seeing reflections and markings we can't perceive at all. So, scientifically speaking, when your cat seems fixated on nothing, they're probably just noticing things that you can't. Still, that hasn't stopped people from wondering if they're also seeing spirits. A cat's hearing what we can't. If vision explains part of the mystery, hearing takes it to the next level. Cats can hear an astonishing range of sounds, especially in the ultrasonic range, frequencies way too high for human ears to detect. Rodents communicate in these high frequencies, which is part of why cats evolved this ability. But in the home, it means your cat may be responding to things like the faint hum of electronics, the squeak of pipes, or tiny scratches in the walls. According to the Cornell Feline Health Center, cats can hear up to 64,000 hertz, more than 3 times the upper limit of human hearing, which tops out at around 20,000 hertz. To us, a room might feel completely silent, but to a cat, it is buzzing with high-pitched noises. This super-sensitive hearing is another reason cats often seem spooked by things we can't perceive. But again, if you're inclined to believe in ghosts, it makes sense to wonder, what if those unheard sounds are whispers from the beyond? The sixth sense theory. Here's where science meets mystery. Cats rely heavily on their whiskers, which are essentially ultrasensitive antennas. Believe it or not, whiskers aren't just for feeling nearby objects. They can also pick up on micro changes in air pressure and movement. That means when a draft slips under the door or a vibration travels through the floorboards, your cat may notice instantly, even if you don't feel a thing. Some research suggests that cats might be able to sense electromagnetic fields, though evidence is limited. Still, this theory is popular among believers in the paranormal. After all, many ghost hunters use electromagnetic field detectors when searching for spirits. So when your cat suddenly bolts from a room or stares into a corner, could they be reacting to a shift in energy we can't see? Science can't confirm it, but it can't completely rule it out either. Cats in folklore, guardians between worlds. Long before science tried to explain cats' strange behaviors, cultures around the world already saw them as mystical beings. In ancient Egypt, cats were considered sacred and closely linked to the goddess Bastet, protector of the home and keeper of spirits. Egyptians believed that cats could ward off evil and even guide souls safely to the afterlife. Their presence wasn't just practical, they were revered as spiritual guardians. In Japan, folklore introduced the Bakaneko and Nekomata, 2 supernatural cats believed to hold incredible spiritual powers. These weren't your average household pets. Stories describe them as creatures capable of shapeshifting, speaking human language, and even summoning the dead. To the Japanese, cats existed on a threshold between the natural and the supernatural. Celtic traditions also cast cats as otherworldly sentinels. They were thought to guard the veil between the living and the dead, able to sense spirits moving quietly throughout the world. People often believe a cat's mysterious stare wasn't just idle observation, but recognition of something more. Even in the Middle Ages, cats carried a mystical reputation, often associated with witches, sometimes unfairly demonized as their companions. They were nonetheless regarded as animals with otherworldly awareness. Their behaviors, whether curious or unsettling, seemed to connect them to the realms beyond our own. So the idea that cats can see ghosts isn't new, it's just been woven into human storytelling for thousands of years, passed down in myths, legends, and beliefs that continue to influence how we view our feline friends today. Modern-day ghost cat stories. Fast forward to today and you'll find no shortage of modern accounts. Pet guardians all over the world have reported their cats acting strangely in supposedly haunted houses. Some tell of cats meowing at empty doorways, following invisible figures with their eyes, or refusing to enter certain rooms. If you search for ghost stories on Google, you'll find plenty involving cats. A recurring theme? Cats staring into corners for long stretches of time, sometimes even hissing at nothing. There are also touching stories of cats seemingly sensing the presence of a deceased loved one. People have described their cats curling up in their late grandmother's favorite chair right after she passed, or meowing at the front door of the anniversary of a loved one's death. Are these coincidences, or are cats really perceiving something beyond us? Let us know what you think in the comments section. Science's take on ghostly cat behavior. Now, before we all start believing our cats are ghost whisperers, let's ground ourselves in some science. While it's tempting to think our feline companions have one paw in the supernatural, most of their spooky behaviors can actually be explained by the incredibly sharp senses, natural instincts, and sometimes even a little boredom. Take the classic example of cats staring intently at a blank wall. To us, it looks eerie and inexplicable. But in reality, your cat is likely tracking a faint movements of tiny insects or even listening to subtle sounds traveling through the walls that human ears could never pick up. Their acute senses turn what looks like ghostly fixation into a perfectly normal reaction. The same goes for those sudden, inexplicable sprints across the house, sometimes called zoomies. Cats have strong survival instincts and they are hardwired to react quickly to vibrations, faint noises, or even shifts in light that we don't consciously register. What feels like a supernatural chase to us is, for them, just a surge of instinctive energy. Even their tendency to act strangely in certain rooms can often be explained without invoking spirits. Cats may be responding to subtle changes in airflow, unusual smells, or even past experiences they've quietly stored in memory. A corner that feels unsettling to us might simply be associated with a stressful moment for them, or it might just carry a scent only they can detect. So from a scientific perspective, cats aren't seeing ghosts at all. They simply are tuned into the world in a way that humans aren't. Their behaviors may appear mysterious, but in reality, they're demonstrations of just how sensitive, observant, and instinct-driven our feline friends truly are. But of course, science doesn't answer every question. What religion says about ghosts. While science explains most cat behaviors in purely physical terms, many people of faith see the question differently. From a Christian perspective, the Bible does acknowledge the reality of spirits and the supernatural. In fact, in Matthew 14:26, when the disciples saw Jesus walking on the water, they were terrified and cried out, thinking he was a ghost. This moment shows that even Christ's closest followers believe spirits could appear in the physical world. Another example is Samuel being summoned by the medium at Endor in 1 Samuel 28. For Christians, the existence of spirits isn't just folklore, it's truth woven into scripture. The Bible describes both angels and demons, reminding us that spiritual realities exist alongside the physical world that we see. While the church doesn't teach that animals serve as guardians against spirits, it isn't outside the realm of possibility that they can detect presences we can't. Of course, not every spooky cat moment means that there's a ghost in your living room, but for those who believe in the afterlife, the idea that cats might act as guardians, alerting to us the things that we can't see, can feel reassuring. It's a reminder that in the unseen world the Bible speaks of, we are not without protection, and sometimes our feline companions might be part of that watchful care. And Christianity isn't the only faith with this perception. In Islam, the concept of jinn describes unseen beings that humans often cannot perceive. Judaism contains rich traditions about spirits and the afterlife, while Hinduism includes the belief in wandering souls and energies that linger. Across many religions, the idea of a hidden spiritual world is not only accepted, but central, which makes the thought of cats sensing that world all the more fascinating. Should you be worried if your cat acts spooky? The short answer, not usually. Cats staring at corners or jumping at invisible things is perfectly normal behavior most of the time. It means they're alert and aware of their environment. However, if your cat's behavior suddenly changes, like excessive staring, meowing at nothing, or avoiding certain areas, it's always worth checking for medical or environmental causes. Cats can have vision or hearing issues that make them more reactive, or there could be something in the home that's stressing them out. So while ghosts probably aren't the culprit, a vet check never hurts. the joy of the mystery. At the end of the day, the question of whether cats can see ghosts might never have a definitive answer. Science leans toward no, but faith, folklore, and our own experiences sometimes makes us wonder. What's certain is that cats bring mystery, magic, and curiosity into our lives. They make us laugh, they make us think, and sometimes they make us look twice at the dark corner of the room. And maybe, just maybe, that's part of their gift to us, reminding us that there's more to the world than what we can see. Whether you believe your cat is a guardian between worlds or just an incredibly perceptive pet, one thing is certain: always keep you guessing. Now we want to hear from you. Has your cat ever acted like they were seeing something you couldn't? Did they spook you out, or did you brush it off as typical cat weirdness? Share your stories in the comments below. We'd love to hear your experiences. And if you enjoyed this spooky deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more feline facts, and check out one of these other pertastic videos next. Until then, keep your cats close and maybe leave the nightlight on, just in case.